Hello, Victoria, can you hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's fine.
All right, just let me know when I can start.
Okay. All right. Yes, we can start.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, once again. My name is Adekunle, and I will be discussing a topic titled Soft Skills as a Designer. And I know this topic is not just, it's not something we've not heard before. Most of us must have heard what the word soft skill is, but we are just trying to link the word soft skills and a profession together now. So that's what we're discussing today. And it's going to be an interactive session. So it's not just going to be me doing the whole talking and talking. So we are just going to learn together. So thank you for taking your time to be here. So let's enjoy. So for the course of this presentation, I have this little content. So one of the contents we'll be discussing is what is soft skills. Can you hear me, Victoria, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh, thank you. So one of the things we'll be discussing is the idea of soft skills. What does it really mean to have a soft skills? What does it mean? And next we'll be discussing why should a designer have soft skills? Then we will be discussing soft skills a designer should have, which in this case, like what are the examples of some soft skills that a designer should have? And we'll be concluding, and hopefully we'll have time to have some question time and discussion. Okay. So we said, what is soft skills? And for this presentation, I mentioned that soft skills are related to behavioral and social skills. What this means is it's not just about having an idea of how to do something. What are the innate behavioral skills that you have? It's just like I used to say, for everything that we are, whether we are a designer, whether we are developers, whatever we are human beings first. And because we don't relate with robots, there are some behavioral skills that we should have. These are what is called soft skills, relating with people. And I said here that it has nothing to do with hard skills. And many of you must be asking now, what is hard skills? We'll get into that later. And I said, in general, soft skills can be used by anyone and any profession. So it doesn't mean where you are working from, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a software engineer, whatever it is, we all need some aspect of soft skills that can help us, not just to become a better person, but to become better and better at our jobs. That is what we mean by soft skills. Okay, so let's go on. So we said, why should a designer have the soft skills? In as much as I've established the definition of what soft skills is, and we also understood that all professionals should have it just to make them better and better at their job. So in this case, why do you think a designer should have a soft skills? We said having soft skills as a designer is not just is important because they're essential for effective collaboration with clients, with teammates, conveying our ideas clearly. So as a designer, because we deal with stakeholders, we deal with users, we deal with our teammates, we deal with a lot of people, even from the scratch. So we should have some of these soft skills that help us to collaborate more, help us to pitch our ideas. Imagine you have an idea, a very bright idea, and you don't know how to pitch it. Even though that idea can solve a lot of problems, but the idea that you cannot articulate your idea very well, or the people you are trying to solve their problem can't understand you just because you have some deficiency in your soft skills and all. That's a disadvantage to a designer. So that is why we said a designer should have soft skills. It helps you to collaborate. It helps you to relate well with your team members. It helps you to put yourself in the user's thing. Imagine, let's say you are trying to build a product now. You don't just build a product because you want to build a product. You want to design a product to solve a specific problem. So one of the things that helps you to solve that problem is having the soft skills to understand how that specific user you are trying to solve their problem, how do they feel? That idea is called soft skills because you are trying to help them. You are trying to make life better for them. This is what we mean by soft skills. He's saying he's adapting to evolving project and requirements and feedback. That's one of the ideas of soft skills. So it helps you to adapt to evolving project requirements. So imagine you just saying you are just fixed on this idea of how things is done. No, that is not how things are done. Imagine people that have been designing in the past 20 years and they are saying that is exactly things have been done. Adaptability and flexibility is one of the soft skills. So I'll be getting to that shortly. Adaptability and flexibility is one of the soft skills a designer should. I'm just helping us to understand that for every designer, soft skills are needed for you to be very, very good. It's not just to be a good designer, it's for you to be a better person presenting your ideas, helping people to know, okay, this is how you should do it, this is how it can be done. Okay, what if we do it like this is how it can look like? Do you understand? There was a tweet community event that we did once. We had one designer talk. So he was saying that how we put our users first help us to understand how we can solve our problem. That's one of the soft skills a designer should have. Do you understand? Okay, so let me now go forward. So listing some of the soft skills. So as a designer now, I mentioned here some of the soft skills that we should have. Though, let me correct it. It is not limited to these soft skills, but I feel like if we can have these soft skills that I listed here, being a designer should be like just a roller coaster for us because one of the things that I mentioned here is communication. And we'll be looking at all this one after other. I said communication, empathy, time management, creativity, excuse me, adaptability, flexibility, teamwork, and problem solving. If a designer should have all of these soft skills or have the intention of growing in all these soft skills, the designer is like 70% ahead of most of the designers because a lot of designers, I won't, there is no really confirmed statistics for that. A lot of designers believe they can design, even though you know how to design and know how to bring a lot of shapes together, you know how to bring a lot of colors together without having the soft skills. Your design is as good as nothing because people will not appreciate what you have done because for the fact you didn't even consider the people you are designing for. Do you understand? That's one of the best soft skills. You are not communicating with the people you are designing for. You don't empathize with the people you are designing for. So what makes you a good designer if you don't have some of these soft skills? And that is what this presentation is all about. So I mentioned here that communication. When I say communication is a skill. Sorry guys, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. Hello?
Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Hello,
Hello,
can
can
I?
every
All right, please, is it from his network or is from my network? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you, Victoria.
All right, okay, so perhaps his network is having issues.
Hey, sorry about that. Can you hear me, Victoria?
I can. Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
sorry. I lost my network for a minute. Okay, let me reshare my screen, please. Okay, you can make me yours. Make me yours, please. Can I share?
Okay. Okay, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can.
Okay. I think I stopped. I lost my network from here. Am I correct, Victoria?
Yes, you are. From
Can
here.
you? All right. Thank you so much. So I was saying, I said for every designer, these are the least I believe. These are the least I believe. If you have some of these soft skills, you are not just going to be a regular designer. You are going to be a designer that lasts like 70% ahead of other designers. And one of the skills is communication, empathy, time management, creativity, adaptability and flexibility, teamwork, and problem solving. So, and I said that it's this soft skill that I listed here is not limited to just this um, one that I mentioned here. But if you work based on this, your design skills is accepted. Should I put it that way? Yes. So let me start discussing them one after the other. So I said communication. Communication is a skill that helps you to articulate your ideas, listen to people, listen to not just your clients, your users while you are making your research, your team members, provide and receive constructive feedback. And the word constructive feedback, because a lot of designers, a lot of people these days, when they are making their feedbacks, they are not constructive. You know what I mean by constructive? They say they just want to say how they feel, not appreciating the fact that this designer has done a bit of work on this thing. So when you are making a constructive feedback, you at least try to highlight what the person has done. Okay, then this is how you can do it better. This is how you can make it more better. Okay, this is not right. That's what I mean by constructive feedback, and effectively convey your design concepts to stakeholders. So as a designer, communication is very, very before you even start anything designing, you need to communicate. What are you trying to design? How is this product trying to help our users? If you go it this way, can it help our user? This is what I mean by communication. You don't just communicate just because you say something. And there's a saying that says communication is not complete without a receiving end. So when you communicate, you receive, you wait for feedback before you go ahead about with your design. So this is what we mean by communication. So as designers, we should all understand that communication is part of a soft skill that is very, very necessary in our design life. So when we have this communication skill, then we add it to our art skill, just like adding shapes and everything to the, then we can be better at our design job. Then another thing we have is empathy. So empathy, in this case, I put UX design where because UX means user experience and product design. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a UX design, whether it's a product, whether it's a UI design, whether it's a graphic design, whatever it is. All empathy means you are trying to put yourself in the shoes of the user, trying to understand where they are coming from. So as designers, we need to occasionally, or most of the time, we need to like put yourself in their shoes, see problems from where they are coming from. Imagine you are trying to design a food ordering app now. If you don't put yourself in the case of a user trying to order a food, you probably might not understand what the stress of ordering a food is. Probably might not understand how the person ordering a food is stressed, or what is the user journey of this person. Do you understand? Aside from making your research, there's the place of empathy, like having an background idea of what that problem feels like. This is what empathy means, by putting yourself in place of the users. Can you still hear me, please?
At this point, you are sound and clear. Go on.
All right, thank you so much. So that is what empathy means. You don't just be a designer because you want to be a designer. No, there are some soft skills that need to be attached to it. While you are using these soft skills, it makes you better and better at what you are doing. So let me go on. So next I have time management. Most of us must have heard this word, time management and time. It's a whole lot of this is just a slide, but if we keep talking about time management, we can go like 20 to 15 slides. Do you understand? Time management is a lot because it helps you to understand how do you manage your life as a person first. How do you manage your life as a team member? How do you manage yourself as a designer? Do you understand? So time management is a whole lot of concepts, not just to design alone, but in the case of design, we say time. This involves prioritizing tasks, setting realistic deadlines, and efficiently allocating resources to ensure timely delivery of high quality design projects. So in this case, it doesn't matter whether it's a flyer, whether it's a website design, whether it's a mobile app design. What matters is how do you manage your time? Basically, I don't know if there's anyone in this world that has more than 24 hours. We all have 24 hours. And within that 24 hours, I'm sure some of us sleep for at least 4 hours. Do you understand? So let's say you have 20 hours. How do you manage these 20 hours as a designer? And obviously, some of us have some personal um, personal things we need to do within these 24 hours. So give or take, we all have about 8 to 10 hours to work as a designer. So how do you manage these 10 hours with your task? What do I need to do first? What is pending? What can I leave and wait for a while? Currently now I have a bit of task that I'm working on. So what I do now is I have like a sticky note. I put it on my laptop. So what should I do first? What should I do later? What can wait? Do you understand? So it is not just about designing now. It's about managing your time because we all are humans and we don't have more than 24 hours. Do you understand? And I mentioned that give or take, we have about 8 to 10 hours to work on our design. So how do you manage these 10 hours? So it helps you to understand prioritizing some tasks, prioritizing some design projects. Do you understand? So that's what time management is. So as a designer, you need to understand how to manage your time. So you don't waste your time designing for something that is going to be needed in like 2 years' time for something that is going to be needed tomorrow. Do you understand? So this is what soft skill time management as a soft skill means. So next thing we have is creativity, and this is like the bedrock of the soft skills as a designer. So for every designer, if you are not creative, I don't know what you are doing there. And to be honest, creativity does not come. It's not something you learn. It's something that grows. If you ask some all these graphic artists, people that draw, it's not something they might go to school for just to brighten their skills, but it's not something somebody teach you like that. So creativity is something okay, you look at something, how can I make this better? How can I do this thing? So you think a lot. For me now, how do I prime my creativity? So I go on some of these design resources to check on what some people have done. That way, I'm priming my creativity. Okay, in case I have a design tag that I need to do, there are a lot of resources that I can check from. That is how you prime your creativity. Do you understand? So it's not just about sitting down and somebody will teach you creativity. No, it is something you create within you learn. And that is what soft skills is all about. Nobody is going to actually sit you down and teach you, okay, you need to be creative. How do you teach creativity? You can only inspire somebody to be creative. And that is what some of these design resources like you have Behance, we have what's it called, Pinterest, we have Dribbles, we have a whole lot of them. It is not teaching us how to be creative. It's only inspiring us how to be creative. Do you understand? So as a designer, we need to understand that creativity is very, very key. You don't just design because you want to design. You have to be creative because the design of 2012 is different from the design of 2024. And obviously it is changing and changing and changing. So you need to stay ahead of it by priming your creativity so that when you see this changing now, so you don't get scared like, am I going to be out of job? Do you understand? So creativity should be primed and over time. Do you understand? Can you still hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
You are clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So next is adaptability and flexibility. So this involves the capacity to swiftly adjust to changing project requirements, embrace new design trends, seamlessly integrate feedback to deliver tailored solutions that meet evolving client needs. So This is a lot, but I'm just going to summarize it. So adaptability is when you are flexible, but that's how I put it together. Adaptability is when you are flexible enough to make changes. It doesn't mean you are bad. It doesn't mean what you already know it is wrong. No, just because there are a lot of design trends now that can, you don't have to say because you want to stay true to what you have known before. No, that is not how design works. You need to be flexible enough to adapt to new trends. So I don't know if any of you have noticed from my presentation now, there are some specific type of images that I'm using. That is AI images. It says a lot about most people. Maybe a few years back, maybe 5 to 10 years back, and there's probably not much usage of AI images. But these days now, you see AI images a lot, and you're going to still see more of that. That is because we should be flexible enough to adapt to new trends. This is what design is about. So if we don't adapt, or if we are not flexible enough to adapt, we are going to stay still to the extent that we are not going to evolve. We will feel like we are growing, but we are not, because there are a whole lot of design tools that can help us to be better. We should be flexible enough to just test some of this and make it better. It is someone said in a quote that you see some of these new trends, and it is not to take the designer's job. It is to ensure that designers can do this thing more. Do you understand? You take an example for Chat GPT now, or Google Ballad now, or Google Bard now. It helps us to just generate some content. Imagine you trying to generate some content about 5 to 10 years ago. It's stressful, but with Google, with GPT now, you can just generate content without even most of these days now. Designers don't wait for project managers to give them content again. Do you understand? For me, let me say for myself, for me, I don't wait for project managers to give me. Sometimes I just feel like, okay, with this type of today now, what do I feel today's content should look like? Do you understand? I can just go to GPT and just type the prompt word, and it gives me an idea of what can be done for today. That is what adaptability and flexibility means. So as designers, we should have the soft skills to be adaptable. New trends, um, new design trends, new project tools, new tools now, because a whole lot of tools are coming that can help us to simplify our work. Do you understand? And permit me to use the word, some design professionals that have been in the old those days, they see some of these new design tools as a threat. Most of them, but only few of them can recognize this thing is not taking our job. It's just helping us to be better and better at what we do. This is what I mean by adaptability and flexibility. So as a designer, we should try to have that too. So that is that. So the next thing is teamwork. So obviously, if you're not just the only one in your team, so there is team. Even though you are the only one, you don't design for yourself. So that means you are working in collaboration with somebody, maybe a project manager, maybe a client, or maybe a stakeholder. So you are working with somebody. So you don't just come up with design in your head. No, even though you have an idea, okay, this is what I should do. At least mention it to someone so that person can help you refine the idea. And then imagine somebody having like 2 to 3 team members working on a website. Imagine what they will come up with compared to when only one person is working on it. Do you understand? One of the things is it saves time. It helps the designers to be better. Okay, this one has an idea, this one has an idea. So let's combine all these ideas together. So as designers, we should all embrace teamwork because it is really, really necessary. You cannot do it alone. There's a whole lot of design tasks that you cannot do alone. And that's one of the best things I love about Pincon. They gave us a platform to be part of a team. So that way you can understand that this thing, it does not entirely revolve around you. So if you're in a problem, you can reach out to your team members. If you're in a problem, you can reach out to your team mentors. So the team factor gives you like a family of work. Do you understand? So that is what teamwork means. So you should be able to work and collaborate with your team members. If you are stuck on a problem, the idea is just to achieve your goal. Maybe the goal could be designing a website. The goal could be designing a flyer, whatever it is. You should be able to reach out to your team whenever you are stuck on anything or whenever you find anything difficult. That is what teamwork is about. It's not about taking the glory for yourself. Permit me to use the word. They say there's no glory in this world until we get to heaven. That's where we can find our glory. So teamwork is important, and every designer should understand that being part of a team, it does not mean you are not good at your job. It just means you can work with other people. Imagine you being able to work with other people. That means you can work anywhere. That is what team is about. Okay, so that is that. Next here we have problem solving. So this is like the mother of them all. We said problem solving. So for every design task, you are trying to solve a problem. You are not just designing just because you have an idea and let me just put this together. If your design is not solving any problem, that means you are just designing for fun, and nobody is going to pay you for having fun. In quotes, in most cases. Do you understand? So it involves the ability to identify challenges, analyze them critically, and devise creative measures to solve that problem. Do you understand? Like an example I mentioned the previous time is when you are trying to design a food ordering app. So, and I know there are a lot of food ordering apps like Jumia, Glovo, Chowdeck, a lot of them. So when you look at this Glovo, Chowdeck, and a whole lot of them, you see that most of them have some long journey map, maybe about 5 to 10 steps for you to get to your where you are going to pay and order and get your location. And it takes a lot. I should be honest with you. But in some cases, let's say you want to solve that problem, like reducing the user journey of that person to get that food. What if you have like you had an idea of to just have 3 to 5 steps compared to 5 to 10 steps? That's a problem. And you are trying to solve it with your design skills. Do you understand? So that is what I mean by problem solving skills. So a designer should have an idea to solve a problem, not just designing for the fun of designing. And I've said before, nobody is going to pay you for having fun because you are catching fun. Like they will say, you are catching cruise. Nobody is paying you for catching your cruise. So enjoy yourself. But if you are solving a problem, people are going to pay you for it. And that is what we mean by problem solving as a soft skill for a designer. So I'm going to be concluding now. So I said in conclusion, take a moment to reflect on your current soft skills and consider which one should you work on to achieve your professional goals. Remember that improving behavioral skills requires more patience, experience, and a whole lot of practice. So what is saying that take an inventory of the current soft skills you have with the ones I've just mentioned. I'm not saying, as I've said before, we are not limited to the ones I've mentioned. But if you work with these ones I've mentioned, automatically you are, like I mentioned, you are about 70% ahead of other designers. So take an inventory of what you have. Okay, how can I improve this? How can I improve this? Am I trying to improve my communication skills? Am I trying to improve my teamwork skills? Am I trying to improve my adaptability and flexibility skills? So once you know, somebody will say, once you know where your problem is, automatically you find a solution to it. So if you already know what you have, then you can now know what can I do to achieve what I want. This is what we, and it takes a while. It's not a day's journey. That's why I said nobody teaches you soft skills. That's why you cannot constrain it to time. No, nobody teaches you. It takes a while. Well, it depends on how hungry you are for that soft skill. So it takes a while. So, but what matters is the current intention of working towards achieving that goal. That is what really counts as a designer, that you want to get better. I want to get better at my communication skills. I want to get better at my teamwork skills. Do you understand? This is what really means. So thank you everyone for taking your time to listen to this. If I still have time, maybe we can go to the question and discussion session. Victoria, I'd like to have time.
Yes, we do. So let's have your questions.
Okay, so like I said, the question is going to be a discussion. So, okay, let me start with the first one. You know, I mentioned that anyone can go. I'm not just.
I have a question.
All right. Okay, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the presentation.
Welcome,
my question is that can we say that someone that has a good technical know-how, but doesn't have a doesn't know how to explain how to teach, how to translate that technical know-how to people, as in to give back to people, like teaching people how to the technical know-how you have. I would say that the person does not have the good communication.
Okay. Yes, you are saying that what if someone has the technical know of that design, but doesn't know how to teach other people do we say the person have no soft skills? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so in my own opinion, that is like teaching people. That's like rendering knowledge what you already have to other people. So I won't say that is a bad idea, because not everybody can be teachers, but it is not so difficult to teach what you know, even though you cannot properly articulate what you already know. But practicalizing this is another thing. Teaching theory is different from practicalizing what you already know. So what I'm saying here is about soft skills, helping people to understand. As a designer now, you need to understand how to relate with people. It doesn't mean you don't know how to do that thing. How do you relate with it? Because you don't design for yourself. You don't collaborate with yourself. So teaching people is different from um, relating with, though is an aspect of relating with people, but that doesn't mean the person does not have a soft. It just means the person has a deficiency in teaching people, and that can be worked on. Do you understand? So it doesn't mean the person does not have a soft skill. It just means the person has a deficiency. And as I've said, for every deficiency, there should, if you really want to go past that deficiency, you should have the intention of working towards becoming better and better. That is what really counts. It doesn't matter where you are. What matters is where you are going and the intentionality behind where you are going. Do you want to be better? Do you want to be better? That is what really counts. Do I answer the question, sir?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other question from anyone? Okay, I'll take the silence and there's no other question. Thank you. So my question is, I was talking about art skills. I think it's in my first slide, at the second slide. So what is art skills? Anyone? Should I call names in Victoria?
I think that will be faster so that we don't waste so much time.
Okay, I don't know who A1 light speed is. Can you answer for us, sir?
Sorry, could you please repeat what you said? I was cut off with something, please.
Okay, I said, what is art skills? Art skills. I was talking about soft skills. So what do we consider an art skill?
Hello.
Hello.
I can hear you, sir.
Someone's talking.
Okay, I think it's network is bad.
Okay.
Let me go sit up.
I don't know who he's talking about. I cannot hear that person. Okay, maybe someone else should just go ahead and
please, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm so sorry about that. I got a call, so it cut me out from the meeting. So I'm so sorry about that. So your question was what, please?
What is art skills? We talked about soft skills. So what do we consider art skills?
Okay. Let me say I'm a Python developer and I have skills like Python programming and some of its libraries. Now, having that programming skills and having that programming skill, especially in this aspect, a Python programming skill is a hard skill.
Okay, thank you, sir. So thank you very much for that attempt. So you are right, though. I would have preferred you say, okay, the technical know-how of a skill, of a career, that's what I mean by art skills. Just like the person that asked the question, if you are a teacher now, the technical know-how of that teaching skill is knowing how to teach. Do you understand? So the technical know-how of a specific skill is the art skill. Do you understand?
All right, so I think we're going to stop here definitely so that we don't miss out on the timing.
Okay.
It's already 9:44.
Thank you.
I want to really appreciate everyone, especially those persons that have been presenting on the days of their presentation. Sophia, Tatekunle, Samuel, Kolawale. Thank you very much. You guys have always been showing up, irrespective of how busy the income can be. So sincerely, you guys have soft skills, just like Adekunle has, empathy and all of that. All right, thank you. Please do have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you, Victoria.